All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we are going to talk about the rumor mill out there that about Errol Spence Jr. and Jermell Charlo, and we are going to talk about the nature of boxing YouTube and boxing fan conversations when this type of stuff starts going around. Very unfortunate. Both of those guys have had very tough years, very profitable years and very tough years at the same time. Let's get into that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 147-pound division and the 154-pound division, where there is just a lot of people out there that do not care about the relationships that individuals have with one another and are more than happy to throw a match in the middle of a forest where everything is sitting serenely. But hey, man, we're bored. Not a lot of boxing going on. So let me strike a match and throw it in the middle of this and start a fire and see if I can get everybody to start fighting with each other and the leaves burning down. Please forgive me for my mixed metaphor. But this is the case that we have, as now people are saying that there is a beef between Jermell Charlo and Errol Spence Jr., that Jermell Charlo is jealous of Errol Spence Jr. Seems to me that that is interesting to say the least. But before I get into it, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much for your continued support. It really makes a big deal to the channel. Thank you for the people that support and the super thanks. It's a great way to sponsor any YouTube channel that you like in a very underrated way to assist people in being able to tell the truth as they see it and not have to rely upon promoters and that to subsidize the channels. And then you wind up hearing a lot of stuff that, you know, is coming straight out of promoters' mouths into the ears of YouTube channels and then right out to people, passing it off as if it's a legitimate thing. And so I'm on that topic today in this video because Errol Spence Jr. lost a fight against Terence Crawford. After Errol Spence Jr. lost his fight to Terence Crawford, Errol Spence has almost said nothing in the media. He's not been to any fights. I think he may have tweeted a couple times, put a couple pictures up on Instagram in the 5 or so months that have taken place since he had his fight on the 29th. Matter of fact, I think it's 5 months. I think it's 5 months today since he had that fight. I believe that was 7/29 that they had that fight. But anyway, you haven't heard anything from him, right? So no need to think that he's doing anything but vacationing with his family, letting his body recover from that very brutal fight that he was in, and getting his mind prepared for his rematch against Terence Crawford. Then you have Jermell Charlo, who had a rough but very profitable year in that he moved up to looking to, what's the phrase people like to throw around? Chase greatness. Moves up to fight Canelo Alvarez, gets dropped by Canelo Alvarez, goes the distance with Canelo Alvarez in a fight that was not particularly exciting and in which Jermell Charlo was really not able to do anything with Canelo. So he gets lambasted after that fight took place. And for fighting like a coward, not being a lion, all of that type of stuff. And unfortunately, after that, gets caught up in a situation of his own making when he gets into allegedly gets into a fight with a family member. And he says some things on tape that are, I would consider to be morally reprehensible. However, at the same time, when I found out more about it, it's like, oh man, that's morally reprehensible. However, maybe society should take a step back on some of the things that it's saying about the notion of whether things are nature or whether things that are certain things are just mental. And I won't get into that other than to say, depending on what the pronoun of that person is, do we go by the pronoun that they decide to use, or do we go with what they were labeled at birth? Anyway, really wild situation. But whatever the case is, now Errol Spence Jr. and Jermell Charlo, if they do not have enough on their plate, are now getting put into a beef because Jermell is jealous of Errol Spence Jr. Why in the world would Jermell Charlo all of a sudden be jealous of Errol Spence Jr.? Jermell Charlo just made a grip of money fighting Canelo Alvarez. I'm sure he didn't get the same purse split that Canelo Alvarez got in that particular pay-per-view that did somewhere around, I think they said it did 600,000, something like that, pay-per-views. It wasn't too far off from what Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford got. So maybe Jermell Charlo may have made a little less money than Errol Spence Jr. did, but Jermell Charlo did not have the same type of just really troublesome performance that Errol did. But Jermell Charlo has always been supportive of Errol Spence Jr., and Errol Spence Jr. has always been supportive of Jermell Charlo. You can think whatever you want to think about them personally, but you can't deny that they have always been friends. Always have been. They work in they have the same trainer, have sparred together. And just to have people out here speculating about a breakdown in their friendship, just because, in my opinion, the boxing media cycle is a little bit slow, I just kind of think, man, I don't get that, man. I don't get that. Two things, though. Number one, I don't think there's anything to be jealous of. Number two, again, Errol Spence Jr. himself has not said anything in public at all. Jermell seems like he is over there in Houston doing his own thing and got his own problems. But maybe they're saying that he had been jealous in the past. They're both world champions. I'm sure that there's some degree of competitiveness between people, competitiveness between Jermell Charlo and Jermell Charlo. That competitiveness does not always equal jealousy. But whatever the case is, who cares at the end of the day? I would suppose if Jermell is going to be jealous of Errol, then Jermell must be tremendously jealous of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tremendously jealous of Gervonta Davis, and Jermell tremendously jealous of Tyson Fury for the money that Tyson Fury made or the championship that Tyson Fury has. I just think all of this stuff gets kind of ridiculous at times. And there's now these YouTube channels that are like artificial intelligence boxing channels. That's almost all they do. That's all their trade is making up things that are just so far-fetched as to get people's attention on it. One of the things that I had read recently was where Ed Customato, who was a trainer of Floyd Patterson, trainer of Mike Tyson back in the day, said that, referred to the promotional aspect of boxing as the devil. And I got to tell you, man, that when I hear things like that, it just reminds me of what Customato said, because there's no reason for people to be putting that type of stuff out there on top of these dudes' heads. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.